Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm really excited to spend some time with you talking about Microsoft workshops and how we can modernize our communications for better business outcomes. It's the bottom of the hour, and so let's go ahead and get started. Love to be respectful of time. If you're watching us time shifted and recorded, doesn't mean quite as much, but let's go ahead and get kicked off. So thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about modernizing communications, right? How to deliver collaborative voice experiences, just like we're doing with messaging, just like we're doing with files and collaboration using Microsoft Teams Phone. We'll also talk about a workshop that supports your initiatives in this space. My name is Steve Thompson, and I'm the Vice President of Solutions and Alliances here at Apex Digital Solutions. What that means is I spend my day thinking about a couple of different things. One is our great partnership with Microsoft and some other great vendors like Jabra or Polycom that we'll talk maybe a little bit about today, and ensuring that we're bringing those solutions from our partners to market. I also think about our solution strategy and making sure they're aligned to the business outcomes that you're looking for. Here at Apex, we're about delivering business outcomes to you and making sure that they help drive the business, whatever you're in, not IT for IT's sake. So thank you for joining me today. So let's talk a little bit about what our plan is for the next 20 or 25 minutes that we spend together. I'm going to talk about hybrid work and the modern communications imperative. For many of us, this is an interesting time as people are coming back to the office. We have the ability through solutions like Teams to converge different tools, different historical solutions that you've had in your business and bring them together like we've never been able to bring them together before. Very early in my career, I worked at Target, and in those days, the network and the voice people sat on one floor, and all of us in technology, client server, productivity solutions sat 24 floors away, right? Never the two shall meet. I'm sure they thought we were weird. We thought they were a little off too, right? Now those worlds have converged, and we can really offer a single platform and a single solution to our customers, and in a way that just makes them much more productive. And in support of that, I'll be talking about the workshop that Microsoft and Apex offer in this space, what we can do to help jumpstart your adoption. What I hope you walk away with is a better understanding of the landscape. I'm sure you're bringing your expertise and your current experience to the table, and I just want to broaden that horizon and give you a picture of the market and other businesses as a whole, how we can help you optimize your business, think about driving an enhanced collaboration and voice solution, as well as potentially driving down costs. One of the fun things for us to do here at Apex is to fund our work for you by cost savings in your environment. Hey, what can we turn off because we're turning something different on, or something that is consolidated on? Is there a standalone tool that we can turn off? And real clear, give you the next steps. What do you go do after we spend this time together today? So just real quick, a little bit about us here at Apex. We've been around a long time, headquartered in Southfield, Michigan. We're tightly aligned with Microsoft. We're what's called a field managed partner, or a managed partner. That means that there is a person at the other end of the phone when we call Microsoft. We have a devoted partner development manager that works with us on everything we do. We've served hundreds of customers with hundreds and hundreds of solutions. And one of the things, that last bullet, is something we really take a lot of pride in, which is our customer satisfaction. We want to know that our customers would recommend us and would say that they had a great experience working with Apex. It's part of our DNA. It's part of our core values. So hybrid work really requires modern communications. And so as we move back into our offices or continue to adopt and adapt to the world of hybrid work, it really requires that these modern communications, these converged communications really work well for us, right? How do we collapse cell phones and desk phones and soft phones? How do we do video wherever you might be, whether it's in a Microsoft Teams room-enabled conference room in the office or using a personal device when you're on the road. At the same time, I know your budgets aren't increasing, 10% year over year. How do we do this with the same or limited staff, limited budgets, always being thoughtful about where we spend money? That's one of the great things that we love doing here at Apex. Like I said, is digging in with customers and saying, where can we find the savings to fund those things that are really going to drive and enhance the business? What can we turn off so we can go do something new? And having the calling in place, up to and including access to the PSTN dial tone, is what facilitates hybrid work. As my employees and the people I work with will attest to, I am well known for sometimes just picking up the phone, right? Let's do something via voice, direct, and just get it over with, right? Reduce the time that it takes. All of us love instant messaging. All of us love texting. Sometimes, though, voice and that direct communication is the way to go. And people are relying more and more on Teams to be that calling backbone. We've seen so many customers start off with a Teams implementation that was really focused on collaboration and file sharing, and then all of a sudden discover that the people are calling each other inside of Teams and wondering why they can't call outside, or how do I get audio conferencing enabled? All of those things really drive the adoption of this collapsed solution. And it's something that we want to help you drive within your environment. And a funny thing happened on the way to converged calling or to modern communications, that Microsoft ended up as a leader in the space, right? For a lot of us that have been around a long time, we think of folks like Cisco or 8x8, sort of those came from a traditional telco kind of background. Cisco's had their call manager product for many, many years. But look what happened. Microsoft and some other players are right up there with them when it comes to capability and just being a complete solution that you can turn on in your business today. We actually partner with 8x8. There are certain scenarios where they are a great and elegant solution for our customers in combination with Teams. We're very focused on that Teams platform, the Microsoft solution in this space, but we do have other avenues. If you have sort of edge case things, you've got big contact centers, you've got a big international presence, we have the ability to address those sort of cases at the margins as well. And so Teams Phone, right, it integrates calls right into your workplace. I spend most of my time in that Teams sort of wrapper, whether I'm working on files or collaborating. Now my phone rings in there as well. I get the calling features I need. It can ring my cell phone. The management is all within the Teams admin console. And we can still do that hard phone on the desk, right? If you want a physical phone, but we have great partnerships for that, as well as headsets and cameras and things that round out the experience. Teams Phone is a complete solution. And here are just some examples of kind of what that looks and feels like, in case you've never seen it, right? There is, in fact, a dial pad, right? If you have a touch screen, you can even go so far as to, use your finger to dial that number from scratch. It integrates with your contacts, keeps history, keeps voicemail. We've got an image of the mobile client. I'm an iPhone user. It rings just like a phone call. It even shows up in my call history on my iPhone. And so it is just completely integrated into the way I want to work, and super easy and flexible, and at the same time delivers that phone experience that a lot of folks are still looking for. Advanced features, call recording, transcription, live captions, call park, queues, IVR. It's funny. My strategy with a lot of customers is to say, let's start with Teams phone and calling and sort of prove me wrong, right? Like throw your best edge cases at me. Well, we have a call queue for sales that has to roll over to a voicemail after hours. We like to update the greeting, and we want to make sure that it doesn't favor anyone, and round robins to all the salespeople when calls come in. Done. Right? Like the capability that most of us need is just built right into Teams. And I love exploring with customers what their needs truly are and seeing if they're in that 80, 90% of us, because Apex is in that same boat, where when we looked at it and said, hey, we're coming from a PBX, we're coming from these advanced calling capabilities, here are the things we need to do. Guess what? Teams phone and Teams calling satisfies our needs. And then when it comes to setup and management, whether it's provisioning numbers, doing call analytics, managing queues, having survivable branches, all of those things are integrated into a world that your people, or if you work with us as a managed service provider, our people are in every day and know and understand. Getting back to my Target example, not only were they on a different floor, but they had tools and systems and even language that I didn't understand, right? What is this punch down tool you're speaking of? Now we've made it, and Teams has made it so that the admins that are doing everything else around your users, provisioning IDs and passwords and OneDrive and SharePoint, well, phone is just a part of that as well, right? Seeing the phone numbers, assigning them, doing the analytics, all within that same sort of framework that we're used to. Huge, huge advantage. And again, another place where I say sort of, prove me wrong. Like say your requirements. Let's get through what your requirements are. That's what the workshop is focused on. And let's see if you are an edge case, right? If we do need to bring in a partner, if we do need to go above and beyond the out-of-the-box solution. But it's a great place to start. And like I said, for most of us, it's frankly more than we need. Here's a couple of stylized versions of the stuff that's out there now. We have great vendor relationships from Yealink and Cisco to Poly and Logi and Jabra, and to deliver those experiences, whatever the form factor is. I have to admit, I still kind of miss having a desk phone. There's just something to a phone on a desk, even though I'm sitting in a home office right now. You can provide that experience. You can provide the soft phone experience. You can provide the consolidated sort of a task-focused device. We've got an example of a room system up there. You can provide all of those experience with Teams as the backbone. I think a lot of folks don't realize how far beyond just a soft phone that the Teams platform has come, right? I know, thinking about my own history, that in the earlier days of things like Link and Skype for Business, even Connect to Office Communicator, convincing people that it was all soft phone all the time, right? Maybe we got you a Bluetooth headset, but that was the sum total of the device possibilities. We've come a long, long ways from those times. And so let's get into starting to talk about the goals of the workshop and how we think about it, right? We really want to give you business value and talk to you about the business value that Teams Phone delivers, right? Getting rid of physical costs or T&E costs, associated with that phone infrastructure, right? Productivity gains because of the collapsed nature, the consolidated nature of the infrastructure. Fewer admin tools, fewer solutions, easy to understand billing and licensing, and consolidating all that can be a win in and of itself, right? Like I said, we always start with the base platform because it is so rich and robust. And that's not to say that we don't have customers that have expanded their footprint or moved beyond and brought in, had us bring in other partnerships. But there's a huge opportunity to say, turn off a PBX, turn off a routing or a dial tone provider, turn off a phone on the desk, a hardware lease. There's an opportunity to really bring those costs in line. So just some examples of what Forrester has said about some of these savings. These are great validations, but I sometimes I hesitate to put generic numbers in front of customers because this might be more than your IT budget, or this might be more than your annual revenue, right? That's why I'm so excited to talk to you and potentially in the future have Apex work with you and deliver this workshop in this space. Why? Because what we do is we ground the information in your environment. The cost savings, the next steps, the planning, all are based on your environment and the things that are specific to you. And that's how the workshop flows, right? We partner with you to do an assessment, right? Hey, what are you doing now? What is the cost profile? What are the challenges? What are the opportunities? Then we walk you through something called the art of the possible. This is a chance for you to experience this hands-on. I've given you some screenshots and things like that. But nothing displaces your ability to really see this stuff in action and get a sense for how it would work in your environment. So then we take that art of the possible, we take that assessment, and we help you build a plan around next steps, go-dos for you, for us as Apex, or for us together to get the ball rolling, get those first 5 people on Teams Phone, do the rollout, do the proof of concept, test the unique characteristics in your environment like call queues or IVRs. What are those next steps that are specific to your environment? So let's drill into those a little bit. So the goal is to introduce you to the workshop, figure out what we're going to do in the art of the possible. We've got some questionnaires. We've got lots of tools and collateral from Microsoft that we want to go through. More importantly, and why I wanted to get here is say, we come into the art of the possible and say, what do we really want to learn more about, right? Is it about management? Is it about those advanced features? I've sort of mentioned a few of them. Do you have a contact center? Do you have SBCs because you want to keep your AT&T connection, things like that? Or is it really basically just about taking your Teams implementation and getting it on the PSTN, right? The public switched telephone network. I'm sure for everybody that's an acronym that doesn't maybe need definition. I just can't help myself because there's always a chance that one of us isn't up on an abbreviation. That's dial tone, right? That's getting that direct dial phone number assigned to people in Teams. Like I said, I've seen it with multiple customers that we go through the work of putting Teams out there. They had never anticipated, collapsing their phone infrastructure into Teams. Everybody starts calling each other within the Teams implementation. They might even figure out how to do voice externally as part of a Teams communication, but they're missing their phone number. And so we go through the art of the possible and we figure out what's going to be most impactful for you, right? Is saying, hey, are we interested in devices? Are we interested in calling? Are we want to just see the latest and greatest in the partnerships we have for those devices? What is most important to you? And we take you through experiencing those things. Then let's build that plan, right? A workshop done right has the output of next steps, right? And like I said, they might be next steps for you. They might be next steps for us here at Apex, and they might be next steps for us together. It's part of the reason, that we want to invest in them and invest in you, in that it can provide us a roadmap for how we can partner together and deliver those next steps, right? And let's review what we did. Let's take and figure out, is your network ready? What are the key scenarios? Where do we start? What are the obstacles? What are the things and the other people or the other processes within your environment we need to pull in to really get the ball rolling? These are introductory kickoff assessments. We've done dozens of these. Frankly, I've done hundreds of these across my career, whether they're CIEs or workshops focused on Microsoft technology. And they are an amazing, amazing tool for coming up with that next step list. At the center of all this is really customer choice, right? And this is one example of how customers can choose. It isn't a one-size-fits-all if you get into Teams Phone. I think that's one of the things that the workshop is great at, sort of dispelling that notion. I think the assumption, maybe historically with Microsoft, is that you're getting into a single vendor solution. There's one way of doing things. Well, Teams from top to bottom has really demonstrated Microsoft's ability to sort of embrace a new world of third-party applications, integrations, and Teams Phone is another example of that. Whether you use Operator Connect, the Microsoft calling plans, or frankly, just do direct routing, saying, hey, I'm going to use Teams and Teams Phone as my PBX, but I'm going to route it out to the PSTN the same way I do today, right? I'm just going to flip the switch from Call Manager over to Teams Phone. Teams supports all of these methodologies. For many of us, if this is the kinds of organizations that Apex is and many of our customers are, we start with calling plans. We start with, hey, this is the simplest way to get you dial tone, right? It's in the same admin console. It's the same purchasing motion. The price point is good for what you're looking for. Let's start there. But then we have partnerships and we have the ability to build solutions that match your needs. And so again, Forrester tells us, what does it look like to try and quantify what this means in your organization, right? The saving of time, the return on investment. Obviously, this has some input criteria based on seats and the way people work. Your mileage may vary, but we see tremendous return on investment with all of our customers around Teams Phone, up to and including getting that ROI right off the top by retiring support contracts, retiring device leases, retiring support hours, or the time your team takes to support the infrastructure and collapsing it into Teams Phone. So why work with us, right? Why Apex? Well, this is what we do. This is what we focus on. I've spent a lot of time in my career working with Microsoft partners, both at partners and working at Microsoft and helping support partners. And I really think it's great when partners focus, right? Know what they're good at. And now that I'm here at Apex, we are good at this space. Teams Phone, collaboration, SharePoint, these kinds of things are in our wheelhouse. And so we do this day in and day out. This isn't a hobby. This isn't hey, every once in a while we do something in this space. This is what we live and breathe each and every day. We've got the relationships, whether it's 8x8 and others on the back end, or whether it's Jabra and Poly on the front end, we can support the device needs. So it isn't just a soft phone solution. And, I talked about our bond with Microsoft, and we can leverage that bond with Microsoft to improve your bond with Microsoft. How you're taking advantage of the solutions. Are there programs or things that we can help you be more efficient and reduce spend? It's a hard discussion with our CFO every once in a while, but every once in a while we're able to save our customers money on licensing, on collapsing infrastructure, even if that spend is through us. We always put the customer first and look for those opportunities to help you drive your business. And then hopefully we're along for the ride. So what am I asking you to do today? If you're an existing customer, reach out to your account executive and say, hey, I'm interested in this Modernized Communications workshop. For many customers, this workshop is funded by Microsoft. Talk about burying the lead, right? This engagement is something that's so important that Microsoft funds it for many, many of our customers. We can check your eligibility for a funded workshop in this space. Reach out to your account executive. Not a customer right now? Drop a note to sales@apexdigital.com. And we'll get back to you right away. We can talk to you about your eligibility. We can talk to you about what this would look and feel like in your specific environment and get you started on the road. I'm doing a number of these here at Apex. We focus on 5 Microsoft workshops. And so there's going to be a recording or an event like this for each and every one of them. I encourage you to check out our library of workshops that we offer to the market, focused on teams, focused on security, and focused on endpoints. And if none of that suits you, send me an email, right? sthompson@apexdigital.com. I'm known for having a very clean inbox. And so when your email shows up, I'll get back to you right away and get you started on this journey. So that's what we wanted to cover today. I really appreciate the time. Won't you please reach out to your account executive, reach out to me, check our webpage around hybrid work to get more information and get you started on the Modernizing Communications journey. Thank you very much.